This next trick is hundreds, if not thousands of years old, and it is internationally recognized as one of the longest standing, oldest tricks in the history of prestidigitation, which is nothing more than a fancy word for magic, right? In fact, it was discovered in an ancient Egyptian tomb over 4,000 years ago, a hieroglyphic image that actually depicts the cups and balls performance. Now, some people debate whether or not that was actually a hieroglyphic image of bread makers. However, a second hieroglyphic image was also discovered inside the same tomb that depict that of a juggler's performance. So it will leave us to make our own decisions as to what these images may be. But it can certainly be said that in 1584, Reginald Scott chartered the first treatise on sorcery in the American language, whereby he wrote, using a cup, a magician could make a ball vanish. He further wrote that taking everyday ordinary objects like a candlestick holder or a salt tumbler, that the sorcerer with a little practice could make small objects appear and disappear at random. Now this came at an important time where it was believed that magicians were actually making a pact with the devil. So it was very important for this Reginald Scott to come along and actually explain the technicalities of magic and explain that there was in fact some type of explanation for what was happening. Now this rite of passage performance was discovered to have different versions of the same concept on an international level. For example, in the Orient, it was commonplace to see 2 fine china bowls and 2 balls. In Western Europe, it was commonplace to see 3 cups and 3 balls. This would later derive the 3-shell game, whereby a gambler could utilize his skill against a spectator's chance to gain an advantage. The cups and balls performance has become a rite of passage performance for the working magician to show his dedication to the art of magic. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my version of the cups and balls. Let us first take an inventory of what I have here. As you can see, I have 3 balls, I have 3 cups. Now I've intentionally color-coded the cups, 1 red, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. And I've done this to try to eliminate any confusion that you may have, and to try to make things as easy as possible for you to understand as I explain to you what's going to happen. Now, let us focus our attention on the red ball in the center. I'm going to take the red ball in the center and place it on top of the yellow cup in the middle. Now notice I told you I'm going to place it on top of the yellow cup, but in actuality and in reality what I'm doing is I'm placing it on the top of the bottom of the yellow cup, because as you can clearly see, the yellow cup is inverted. Now, what I'd like to do is take the red cup and place it on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the yellow cup, take the blue cup and place it on top of the red cup that's on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the yellow cup, and give it a tap. And just like that, the red ball has magically penetrated through the yellow cup. Now watch again, ladies and gentlemen, this time as I take the second red ball and place it on the top of the bottom of the red cup. I take the blue cup and place it on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the red cup, and take the yellow cup and place it on top of the blue cup that's on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the red cup. Give it a tap of the wand, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, once again the red ball magically penetrates, this time through the red cup. Now watch again as I take the third ball and I place it on the top of the bottom of the blue cup. I take the red cup and place it on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the blue cup, and take the yellow cup and place it on top of the red cup that's on top of the red ball that's on top of the bottom of the blue cup, and give it a tap. Ladies and gentlemen, just like that, the red balls have magically penetrated through all 3 cups. Now as I mentioned, I've intentionally color-coded the cups to try to eliminate any confusion that you may have, and try to make things as easy as possible for you to understand as I explain to you what's going to happen. Now in the process, I feel as though I may be moving a little fast. Therefore, I'll make an effort to slow down the next pass here. Watch as I take the first red ball and place it underneath the yellow ball, under the cup. Take the second red ball, place it underneath the red cup, and take the third red ball and place it underneath the blue cup. A snap of the fingers, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the balls underneath the blue cup and the ball underneath the yellow cup have both magically vanished, only to reappear underneath the red cup in the middle. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Now watch as I take the red balls, place them on top of the yellow cup. This time, I take my magic wand, give it a tap, and the red ball magically disappears right before your very eyes. Watch again, ladies and gentlemen, as I take the second red ball. This time I place it in my hand, give it a tap, and just like that, it magically disappears right before your very eyes. The third red ball is placed into my hand. I wave the magic wand, give it a tap, and all 3 balls have now magically vanished, only to reappear underneath the cups. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the cups and balls. Now this is how the cups and balls trick was played for many years, and this performance example demonstrates exactly how it worked. It would later be discovered that by actually taking the balls away and bringing them back, while you're explaining to your audience exactly what you're doing, you could actually intensify the mystery and add a little versatility to the illusion. Let me explain. If I take the red ball that's underneath the blue cup, and I take it away and place it into my pocket, and I take away the red ball that's underneath the yellow cup, and take it and place it into my pocket, well, then I still have a red ball underneath the red cup, right? Well, there's also one underneath the yellow cup. Now, why is that? Now, let me explain. To make this illusion work, the magician has to use what's called misdirection, or sleight of hand. When I take the red ball, place it into my hand, and place it into my jacket, I'm actually not placing it into my jacket. In fact, it's not even in my hand. It's still right here. And when I take the red ball, place it into my hand, simulate that it's going into my pocket, it allows me to come around behind the cup and give you the illusion, by pushing the red ball from behind, that the red ball was actually underneath the cup. So, now that you see how the cups and balls work, if I take the red ball and take it away, how many balls should there be underneath the red cup? Well, if you say 3, then you're starting to get an idea of how the cups and balls works. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this time, I tell you what I'd like to do. Let's make it a little different here. If I take the 3 red balls away altogether, let's just say I eliminate them, and there happens to be a 4th ball underneath one of the cups, that would clearly indicate that a 4th ball was being used. Now, if this is your assumption is correct, because I was in fact using a 4th ball, and here it is right here. Well, at least it looked like this one. I'm not sure if it was this one. If it wasn't that one, it had to have been one of these two. But I'm absolutely sure that there's no way it could have been this one. Ladies and gentlemen, the cups and balls.